Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Yo I Am Has versus Yo Iron Man's Ian here on Whirlwind. This is taken from Season 2 of the Taiwan Esports League. This game was played on Saturday night in Taiwan, so you guys might actually be watching it at about the quote-unquote same time as when the Taiwan players are actually playing this game. Now, on the top left-hand side of the map, we have Has spawning as the red Protoss. Meanwhile, Ian is spawning as the blue Zerg. Now, one thing that you guys most likely noticed already as you see these two players playing each other, their names look awfully similar. Yes, their names are awfully similar because of the fact that they are on the same team. Now, teams in Asian countries seem to mean a little bit more than teams, say, in America. Outside of America, outside of like root or complexity, where teams actually have a house and they actually practice against each other. These players may not be, or other players may not be that familiar with each other's play styles. But I have visited some of the player houses in Taiwan, and I know that it's more like a military barrack style, and they do practice against each other pretty regularly. Coming in over here, we can see a simulator gateway, and it will be a mothership core expansion coming in from the Protoss. Meanwhile, we see that Ian is going to be going for what I believe to be a hatchery after spawning pool. Pretty standard play here. You can see the spawning pool is going to get completed. Still no extractor down, so Ian will lose a little bit of time in trying to get that metabolic boost, but he's really going for the economic endgame. Now, we are going to see Ian scouting out his opponent here. He will spot the gateway. He will spot the cybernetics core, as we are going into a second assimilator already. This has been a much more conservative build that we've been seeing out of the Taiwan Protoss players, not trying to go for that forge fast expansion, even though we did also see a lot of crazy antics with pylons. Pylons placed behind mineral lines here really cause a bad day for a fast expanding Zerg, and we'll see what will come of that momentarily. Zerglings already running out across the map, but they will be forced to deal with a mothership core in just a second. Zealot also coming out, and I gotta know, we are not going to be going into a mothership core, no. Instead, perhaps trying to get into 16/24 workers before going into that mothership core. The Zergling will be heading out of there in just a moment, and as soon as that Zergling does come inside here, we could see a little bit of harassment. Not quite sure why we're not seeing a chrono boost though, as we are seeing the Stalker now come into play. The Stalker trying to chase after those Zerglings. No mothership core as of yet, and Has is not going to have that photon overcharge energy as quickly as he wants it. The Zergling's able to do laps inside the base so far, but he was only attack moving and not really focusing down the lower hit point Zergling. Down over here, we can see the Nexus will be placed down, and we are now going into a Stargate. A proxy Stargate built very out of the way, and this is potentially a huge play here, as the Zerglings are going to end up spotting this. Alright, is Has perhaps going to try and go for a very fast Oracle? You can see the beautiful bait away as Has moving away with this probe. This is a brilliant move by Has, making sure that this proxy secret Stargate stays exactly that, a secret, and then we'll be able to get in some damage here. You can see though, there is a queen already in position. There are a lot of Zerglings on the field, and the Oracle could do a lot of damage here in just a moment. Are we perhaps going to see a second Oracle? No, we are not. Just a little bit of wasted chrono boost there, as we now see the Stalker going after the Zergling, and down it goes once more. Alright, a sea of Zerglings now making their way out. A second Oracle being trained, and it is going to be a double Oracle push. This is potentially huge. Meanwhile, Mothership Core doesn't yet have enough energy for a photon overcharge, as the front door will be significantly late. 36/42 supply. Ian now coming in with 49/52. A sea of Zerglings and metabolic boost now coming in. And is it going to be enough? No, the Mothership Core needs to come back home, as the Zerglings are going to be able to run inside here. Where are all the probes going? And they are running straight through the gauntlet of Zerglings. That is not a good play at all. Photon overcharge now coming online. Is it going to be enough to really take down some of these units here, as the Stalker now going to get picked apart? Meanwhile, back on the far side of the map, double Oracles finishing off drone after drone, and taking down a lot of units. This is very important as the Spore Crawler does get taken out. Or does get placed down. Meanwhile, the Oracle is now making their way back into the main base here. Zerglings running rabid inside the main base here. So both sides have lost a fair number of workers. However, has lost 12 to Ian's 8. So far, it looks as though the Mothership Core trying to finish off all these units here. Is there going to be enough units? A Zealot working overtime. But the Nexus does have a fair amount of hit points. Very, very close to 2,000 when fully healed. And it looks like the aggression has stopped. Who came out on top? 8 workers compared to 12. Ian now looking at a 31 to 18 worker advantage. The Zerglings trying to push their way forward. The Stargate and the Oracles now being used as defense to stop these Zerglings. There are sentries in position as well. This is all going to be cutting it extremely close as probes now being transferred off up to the high ground here. So all of this well before that 8-minute mark. We are now at the 8-minute mark in the game. The Zerglings most likely know that there is a proxy Stargate somewhere, but have yet to spot it. This is huge. Has getting extremely lucky. The fact that this Stargate has not yet been taken down, nor has this pylon. Now the follow-up play from both sides. We need to see an expansion being taken up soon, as we can see that the Zerglings finally spotted that Stargate. For some reason, they are not quite there. Yes, they are going to be making their way over there now, taking down that Stargate. Meanwhile, the Oracles are in position to try and take down the Queen, and is it going to be enough? It looks as though it could be enough. Yes, it does get taken down, as the Queen is going up against another Oracle. The Oracle now looking to back away. It is pretty much going to run out of energy in just a moment, get in a little bit more kills, and now we see that the workers killed is at 10 to 12. A beautiful trade there as Zealots now warping in on the far side. They are simply going to get taken down though, but they may take down a few Zerglings in this good trade here until they finally do get surrounded. There we go. All of the Zealots now going to get taken down, and the Stargate and this forward pylon has been destroyed. Taking a look at the losses, 1,800 versus 1,675. Income, 48 workers versus 37. Much more gas for the Protoss than for the Zerg, surprisingly, as there's only about a 200 resource difference. We now finally see a third base being placed down by Ian. And what is Ian going to do to follow this up? Ian has a nice small economic advantage, but he really needs to capitalize on this and turn this into something else. Meanwhile, the Overseer is going to perhaps do a quick flyby, see that there are more gateways, and is going to now finally go on the offensive. He has a lot of sentries, and he's going to be reinforcing this with a lot of stalkers. This is a smart play, getting all of the sentries out early so that you have a good amount of energy on these sentries, and then reinforcing with these forward pylons by Has. Has, however, has a very, very uphill battle to climb. He is going to be going up against Ian, who already is placing down 6 spine crawlers and has a fair number of Zerglings. Photon overcharge. Oh, the Oracles could clean this up, decide not to, and all those Zerglings will be able to simply retreat again. Now, what is this play going to look like? The Oracle going to fly in there, see how much they have to deal against, and then decide to back off. A new Stargate now being added. Pathogen glands and infestors are going to be ready to go. You can see the Oracles looking to perhaps do another quick flyby here. Not going to be successful. There is a revelation, though. And yes, a revelation. You can see all of these units here. What's going on? Let's take a look at what Has sees. Has sees all of these buildings, what's being researched, what's happening, what's going on that far side of the map, and also sees the worker drone saturation. Zerglings now attacking the front door, not going to be successful, but Has surprisingly still only has 0 upgrades. Drones, 15 of them now being trained, and Ian going to be taking that economic advantage very, very soon. A 44 to 65 worker supply difference, but there is a slight army advantage for Has, except for the fact that Has to deal with so many spine crawlers. You saw all of those spine crawlers quickly placed down, as we now see another engagement over here. The infestors, fungal growth coming in, Zerglings, force fields. Those units are not going to be able to back off. However, chain fungal growth hitting many of the lower hit point sentries, and without the sentries, the Zealots not able to really take down as many units as they would like. Zerglings now going to be finishing up the Zealots in the middle of the map here, and the army supply now 26 to 29 A very efficient trade by Ian, especially since he kept all of these infestors alive. Once the infestors stay alive, they can regenerate all of that energy and then come back once more in force, as we now see 2-0 upgrades looking to be started over here by the Zerg. Zerg with 1-1 upgrades, with 2-1 on the way. Has now going into Phoenixes. This is not going to be a very smart move at all. These Phoenixes, I do not believe, are going to be able to do very much. The simple fact that Zerglings like to mass and swarm compared to what we see here. Are we going to perhaps see the Oracles? Yes, they are going to try to engage. Unable to attack and move, though. Or perhaps they are, just not as efficiently as, say, some of the other Protoss air units. 84 supply compared to 104. Army supply about neck and neck. Worker supply still having an 18 worker advantage in the beginning. And now realizes he needs to take an expansion somewhere. He's going to be building this wall here, hoping that he can delay Zerglings from getting inside. But I believe Ian has just hit the right stride. He's already sitting at 2,000 resources with a Spire coming in momentarily. And with that, Ian should be able to train up the exact composition of units when he wants, and then make a bit of a play. Here we go. There is another reveal there. You can see all the Overlords. You can see the Ultralisk Cavern now coming in as well. And what is going to be happening here? Robotics facility, forge, and now a pylon being added to finish off this wall off. We need to see a lot more Immortals if we're going to have a chance to deal or even deal with any of those Ultralisks. Are those Ultralisks spotted? Yes, the Ultralisk Cavern is spottable right there. You can see what's going on. The Queen now making its position off over here, and we are still waiting for an engagement. Ian has constantly had the worker supply advantage, but it doesn't really feel like it's... Okay, there we go. Finally translating into an army advantage now, especially with Ultralisk now entering the field. Spending all of that bank there. Oh, there's a fungal growth, and it looks like chain fungal growth will take down all of these Phoenixes. This is just an absolute nightmare. That's not how you want to lose over 1,000 resources just because of fungal growth and 2 queens. That is going to be a very, very bad day indeed. Void Rays now coming in. Prismatic alignment, Protoss air weapons upgrade, Protoss ground upgrades all coming online. Is it going to matter? Is it going to be enough? As there is now about a 50 supply discrepancy between these two armies. Ultralisks are sitting at 2-2, getting the chitinous plating, getting the Zerg melee level 3 attacks. Ultralisk Zergling Infestor, this is going to be absolutely devastating, as does not have that much to really try and stop any serious plays. There is an interesting pylon wall here with one small gap that may funnel through a lot of Zerglings. So if he can actually win this war because of positioning, this would potentially be huge. Forcing Zerglings to walk through a very narrow opening there means that Colossus will be able to destroy them in a matter of seconds before they even break that first line. All about that splash damage and maximizing the number of units you can kill in a matter of seconds there. The problem is the fact that level 1 weapons upgrade for the Protoss hasn't even been completed, meaning the Zerglings are not going to fall that quickly. 198 versus 149. A 50 supply discrepancy between Haz and Ian. Ian has a much larger bank right now and should be able to flood the field with Zerglings the moment his entire army is destroyed. I believe the attack is imminent now. It's going to be a small time. What is this? 2,000 minerals in the bank. Broodlords now being added. Broodlords, Ultralisk, Queens, Zerglings now ready to go, making their way out onto the field. This is going to be a huge standoff. Let's remember this fight, as this is going to be a huge battle here. In comes the Oracles. The Oracles, are they going to spot this? Oh, there is the reveal, and that is a huge move. Now knows exactly when Ian is going to try and engage and knows what he needs to do to stop this. The Void Rays can simply come in. What is going on? Why aren't the Void Rays engaging? They need to be engaging here. All right, are the Void Rays going to engage? There are Queens now making their way over. That was a little bit too late, as the Void Rays could be making a bit of a charge. Are we perhaps going to see some time warp now coming in, as well as all the pylons are going to get taken down, meaning The photon cannons will be unpowered in just a second. I see a problem with this front door wall now, as the photon cannons will get taken down. This is simply buying too much time. Infestors now with fungal growth, able to do everything here and shut down all of these Void Rays. Here we go, prismatic alignment. Are we going to see an engagement? Yes, we need to. There's not that much anti-air, but those queens need to get focused down. There we go. Here's the engagement, 172 versus 187. Both sides fighting. The Void Rays going after the queens instead of going after the Broodlords. And with that, the main DPS has been completely ignored. And now we see this counter sea of Zerglings. There is the GG from Haz. Ian able to take that game in absolute ease. Macro up a huge army. Don't do anything for 5 minutes and then attack. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this game between Yo Iron Man's Haz and Yo Iron Man's Ian. Please stay tuned for Game 2.